Detective Pikachu, obviously, the movie that you can tell by my icon I was looking forward to the most. And I had to pull what I didn't do with the Lego movie with this one. I had to pull back my expectations because I thought the Lego movie was going to be like this great thing. The trailers made me laugh. I was extremely looking forward to it. And when I finally saw it, it didn't live up to the expectations. This movie, I started pulling back with the weeks to come, thinking, okay, it's not going to live up to the hype, and yada, 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 yada. And it made me like the movie more than other people have. You want my grade? I personally give it a B, but it could be because I am, as obviously as you can tell, a fan of the franchise from my icon. I thought all the actors did fine enough jobs with Ryan and Justin, the guy, and Pikachu doing the standout jobs. The only over the top performance is definitely the Charizard Trainer. He went a little overboard on his cheese factor, but maybe that's what they told him to do. I was a little upset that the R didn't turn out to mean rocket. That's not that big of a spoiler. It's a really tiny one, and that's only for like fans of the franchise would get that one. Anyways, as non-fans, say decent enough child-friendly mystery. It's not something like, because it's set kind of in the film noir style with the neon lighting and everything and the mystery and all that, but it's not obviously anything hard because it's talking Pikachu. What are you gonna expect from a movie literally called Detective Pikachu? There are a lot of references to the games and the cartoons, and when you think about Mewtwo's story, this is for the fans of the franchise, obviously, it has to be the Ash's Mewtwo, can't be Red's. Because if it's the one from the video games or the comics, Giovanni made Mewtwo, he escaped, and then Red eventually caught him. If it's the cartoons, Giovanni made him, he escaped, and then Ash taught him that there are humans who can care for Pokemon. Not all humans are bad, and then he left and hid somewhere. And he hid in Johto. That was the second movie that did Mewtwo, and then that one with him turning into a female for some reason when he Mega Evolves. But that's what I stopped watching the show way after that one, or way before that one. Another funny side note I noticed while watching this, and this is a huge spoiler from the plot of the story, but Ditto, ever since the cartoon when he debuted in there, was affected by the cartoon. The Ditto in the tune that belonged to Copycat couldn't make its eyes or its mouth change properly. And that was a side effect because every other Ditto in the world could apparently do it except for this one. Now, every time you see Ditto in like plushies and posters in this movie, it can't change its eyes. And more often than not, it can't change its mouth, but in this one, it can apparently change its mouth. It's like Meowth. Only Team Rocket's Meowth can stand on two legs. Every other Meowth in the world is supposed to be a four-legged cat. Because, it's a cat. Cats stand on four legs. But ever since Team Rocket's Meowth stood on two legs, and they implemented it in Yellow, where he was constantly on two legs instead of four, even though they show all the other Meowths walking on four legs. That's just a funny side note of the adaptation, changing the source material. But to get back to the movie, sorry for the little side note, the only other thing I didn't like about the movie itself was how fast the sun changed at the end. He went from being a little bit of a hard ass and businessman to, oh, I'll apologize for everything my father's done, and I'm gonna make it up to everybody and everything. Shouldn't have been, we're gonna look into this and we're gonna see if we can help or something like that. Not just instant, but the ending definitely ends any kind of sequel options that they could have had, because another huge spoiler alert. You've been warned. Okay. Pikachu can no longer talk. Ryan was pulled from the Pikachu, and now the dad is free again out of the body, and Pikachu is just a talking Pikachu. It goes, Pika! And all that. Apparently, the whole plot of the thing was the main bad guy wanted to put humans' minds inside Pokemon's bodies, because Pokemon's bodies are better than humans' bodies, because they know they can heal extremely easily with, how they play with each other. A giant lizard shoots lava at a tiny little mouse, and the mouse is perfectly fine. All it needs is like a burn heal. Humans sick and die very easily. And he was looking into trying to cure himself, and he found that you can put humans' minds and bodies inside the body of a Pokemon and have the Pokemon's mind be basically put back on the back burner and a human being fully in control. And he wanted it to everybody, not just himself. He wanted to take over Mewtwo's body so he could use the psychic powers, but Mewtwo was freed by the main Goodman's dad, Detective Goodman, and he had the Pikachu with him, and Mewtwo, to save Goodman, put his mind into Pikachu and took his body with him to keep it safe and heal it. And that's when Pikachu runs into his son, doesn't know he's the son, but he knows there's a connection. The silliness and cuteness pursues. And some of it's a tiny bit predictable. It's like when the earth and everything starts moving in the one scene, they mention that the Torterras were growth hormone, and you can kind of tell that one. As I said, sort of, kind of, you can see some of it. From just an acting perspective, you could tell who the bad guy was going to be, because he always plays a bad guy. Everything I've seen him in, Potter, Davy Jones, no matter what, he's the bad guy. So he's going to be the bad guy in this one too, more often than not. I guess I give it a B. I enjoyed it, and it has credits that definitely fall back to the past of like nostalgia. It's one of those credits that you'll watch just because you like seeing them. Or I like seeing them. I tell people to go see it in theaters. If you do, you get free cards, just so you know. At least for the first couple. At least for like the first week or so. Because they're not going to print like ones to last for every single one. And I have noticed at some theaters that people are stealing them. You can see them online, people selling like boxes of them. Obviously, you didn't buy boxes of tickets. So I'm not promising you'll get a card, but you might. But you can see it anyway. I'd say see it anyways, just because it's a decent enough film. As others have said, even if you're not a fan of Pokemon, if you like lighthearted mysteries, you'll like this one. Tell me what you thought of it down below, and have a good one. Funny side note, Detective Pikachu did dethrone Avengers Endgame for the #1 movie in the world on this weekend for the movie weekend box office that they've been doing. And you can see people like Grace Randolph trying to step around it, saying, no, Endgame's still #1 in America. It's just not #1 in the world anymore. And But then 5 seconds later, she starts talking about how Endgame still hasn't beaten The Force Awakens domestic hold because Force Awakens made more money in America than Endgame has at the moment. So either Endgame is a massive success and it lasted for a month, and then another movie of a franchise that is almost as popular came along and was also successful, or Endgame is nothing compared to The Force Awakens. You can't have it both ways. You either give credit to both. You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's one of those type of things. Have a good one.